Okay, so obviously we drilled the hole in the last video, and as you can see I've now gone round and I've just done a bit of polishing on this side. So obviously we had to go through the various stages of wet and dry paper, as I was talking about in a previous video, and I've done that on the sides, as you can see, and I've done it on the other surface here. As you can see that this surface still is in need of buffing. Okay, so we have a buffing machine here. Because we're using pewter, which is quite a soft metal, okay, we're purely going to use the jeweler's rouge here, okay. So this is like a sort of a wax, effectively, a bit like polishing up furniture and things like this. And really, it's perfectly acceptable as well to use things like Brasso or Silvero or the metal polishes that you could apply with just a rag. But being that we have the buffing machine here, we're going to use this. If I was polishing harder materials, maybe stainless steel or aluminium or something like this, I might have some abrasive compounds. A bit like something like this as well, you may have seen in your departments. Okay, so this is a slightly abrasive compound that might take it to a slightly better level before we then move on to the rouge for the final polish. Okay, there are a few kind of tips when we're using this. Obviously, like with most power tools, we're going to use eye protection, but in this case, because you have the eye shield, you probably could just use the shield if you wish. Okay, I'm going to be doubly safe just for today. And we make sure that effectively, because this spins around at very high speed, that we're making sure we're always holding our work down. Okay. Now, the rule of thumb I find is when we're using rouge, it's kind of little and often. We keep applying a small amount every time, and this puts a little bit of polish on the piece that we're polishing. And we'll use the harder mop to apply the rouge first. This is quite a rigid mop here, and then we'll use the softer mop here to obviously shine it up, a bit like what you would do if you was using rags at home, I suppose. So we'll start the machine. A little bit of polish on, and then we're going to start on one of the edges. So this is the key thing, we're always holding it down. So we can push it into the machine, that's absolutely fine, but we'll always point it down. Never should we put it in at the corner like this, or hold it above that centre point there of the spinning around the axis, otherwise we're going to have problems. So I'm just going to put a little bit of polish on each of these sides. You can see the polish going on. It starts to get a bit dark like this. Just put a little bit of fresh polish on, and just a little touch of polish on there on each of the sides like this. We don't have to push too hard on this mop because it's quite a rigid mop. And then we can move on to the other polishing mop like this. Again, holding it down here, we can push quite hard if we want. Okay, it's quite a soft mop, but it will encase around the outside, and you can see that's creating quite a nice high shine. What we're aiming to do obviously is to remove all of this excess polish and get a really nice shine. So we'll stop the machine there. As you can see, we're starting to get a really nice polished effect like that, a bit like what I got on the back surface earlier in the video. Okay, so what we'd want to do is try and achieve that all the way round, and you'll end up with an outcome a bit like what you can see at the start of the video.